Taking slow inhalations through the nose, really cleansing inhalations. And then exhaling through the nose, releasing exhale down through the body. And tune into this journey of breath, starting from the belly, rising up into the chest. And then exhaling back down again, so through the neck area, through the chest, down through the belly, and envision your breath sort of coming out through your sit bones, through your pelvis, and allowing you just to soften that much more down, feeling grounded into the earth, fully supported in the back body. Once you've tuned into this rhythm of the breath, just try and draw your attention to areas of the body that feel heavy beneath you. The outer edges of the feet, the sit bones, backs of the shoulders, the backs of the hand if you have your hand cupped into the other. And soften down through those areas. At the same time as feeling light in certain areas, back of the neck, around the knees, inside edges of the feet. And fill space through these areas. Space for us to move in our asana practice. Space for us to draw new energies in. Just tuning into this dual action of the body, feeling heavy and light at the same time. Surrendering down, but opening up at the same time. And then start to take a few deeper breaths. Hearing that audible sound of your breath, that oceanic noise of inhaling and exhaling through the nose. An option to start blinking your eyes open or keep your eyelids drawn closed. Taking your hands on the outside of the knees and drawing your knees up together and then in towards you. So hugging your knees in, pressing your lower back into the mat. Your palms on top of your kneecaps. And you're just allowing the lower back to press down into the mat. Breathing here. From here, we're going to start to open our knees out in big circles away from each other, keeping the big toes together if you can, and then drawing them back together to far away distance from you, drawing your knees back into your chest, out to the side. Maybe the lower back lifts as you draw your knees away. And as you draw your knees closer, the lower back presses back down into the mat. So you're moving into that natural curve of the spine as you move through these circles in space. Slow and steady breathing. Working into that cleansing inhale, releasing exhale. Once you've done a few circles one way, pause. And then find your journey back the other way that maybe feels a little bit sideways, a little bit secondary for you. Slow, as if you're moving through this large pot of honey in space. Moving with intention, following our breath. One more big circle. And then drawing both knees in, giving yourself a big squeeze, pressing down in the lower back. Before we release the left leg down along the mat. So this time just squeezing the right knee in towards the right armpit. Interlace the fingers around the right shin. And then draw your knee in towards your armpit even more. As you roll your shoulders down your back, the chest feels open. Breathe. Feeling your chest rise and fall on the breaths. And keeping the knee where it is, from here we're taking the right arm on the inside of the right leg, holding onto the outside of the right foot and moving into this half happy baby, releasing the left arm down parallel. Drawing the knee again in towards the armpit. And then opening the sole of the foot skywards. Breathe, taking a few breaths here. And then hugging that right knee in towards the right armpit with both hands. One last breath. Before we release the right leg down and long on the mat, meeting the left leg sort of in a mini shavasana. Back to the hands, touch the earth, and just rest, pause here. Perhaps close the eyes down and really tune into how the right side of the body feels compared to the left. Perhaps we're tuning into lightness versus heaviness, or sensations versus stillness. Be aware and mindful of what's happening in your body. On our next inhale, let's draw the left knee in towards the chest, interlace the hands around the kneecap. Draw the left knee in towards the left armpit, pressing the lower back down. Remember to breathe. And then from here, releasing the interlace, taking the left hand on the inside of the left thigh, grabbing the outside of the left foot. Right arm goes parallel, just out by the side. And then we draw the sole of the foot skywards. I'm really trying to soften down through the whole right side of the body. Just moving, feeling with the left. Half happy baby left side. Let's take 2 more breaths. Release the foot, hug the knee in towards the armpit with that interlace. One last breath. Releasing the left leg down and long, mini shavasana, and release down. Close the eyelids, and let's take 3 breaths. Just reconnecting with the sensations, this time in both sides of the body, down through the legs. Once you've done your 3 breaths, draw both knees in towards you. Give yourselves one big squeeze. Perhaps rocking side to side on the lower back this time, massaging those kidneys. And then coming back to stillness in the center. And then we start to rock and roll up and down on our spine. So as we inhale, we roll up. And as we exhale, we roll back and the feet kind of hang over the head in space. And we take our time with this. We'll do about 5 rocks. Perhaps taking a pause before one rock moves into the other. And then we cross our ankles and we move into an awful position. However we get there, we transition, meeting in awfuls. Shoulders over the wrists. Tops of the feet pressing down on your mat. And then we'll work into the wrists. So we're going to walk our right hand back towards us. So out clockwise, fingertips pointing back towards us and palm pressing down. And we plug down, we're working into a straight arm on the right side, softening into the left elbow. And maybe this feels intense enough. Or maybe we want to draw the sit bones back towards the heels. Transitioning our weight back a little bit and really feel into the right wrist. Coming to that point of the stretch that we know we just want to take a pause and find some comfort in the stillness here. One last deep breath. Inhale, transition, shoulder back over the wrists, and then turn that right hand back to center, facing forward. This time left palm walks back towards us. Press the whole palm down, soften into the right elbow to then allow us to move up back with our sit bones. Working into a straight left arm. Breathe, gaze down the tip of your nose. Last breath. Inhale to transition forward. Turn the left hand back to facing forward. And now let's go both. Maybe just walking the hands out sideways feels enough. Or maybe just halfway turning your hands back. Or maybe all the way back feels okay. Inhale to prepare and exhale. Drawing sit bones back until that point you can feel in your body. The sensations feel right. And we pause, take some stillness and breathe into it. Maybe drawing back a little bit further on each exhalation. Last breath. Inhale, transition the weight, shoulders back over the wrists. Walk the hands forward. And then this time we're going to come back on the top of the hand. So palms facing skywards with the right hand. And then just move the right fingertips on the mat. Move them up and down. You kind of see on the mat. So move them up and down. There we go. And then come to stillness with the fingers. And do exactly the same as what we did when the palms were down. We draw back. Maybe this is just a really subtle movement with the sit bones back. Maybe this is strong enough today and we breathe here. Again, softening into that left elbow. One more breath. And as if there's a tap on a mat, we're kind of going to move into the wrist now, taking circles with the wrist, working into that right elbow. Maybe, like me, the hips kind of come forward and back, working into the left elbow. One more circle. And then we release the right hand down, moving to the left side, coming on the back of the left hand, moving the fingertips up and down. And then coming to stillness with the fingers, working into straightening that left arm. And maybe here, this feels quite intense to me, so I'm not sure if I'm going to draw the sit bones back. But same movement, till you find that point, finding some stillness and breathe. Inhale, transition your weight, back shoulders over the wrists, and then we work into sort of opening and closing that tap again with the left hand this time. Maybe yours looks a bit different to mine. That's okay, move what feels good in your body. One last big circle. Nice, coming back to all fours. And then let's walk the hands out in front, keeping the hip bones reaching skywards, palms plant down, and then we drop and hang our head between our forearms, working into this puppy pose, feeling expansion in the armpits, length in the whole back body. Inhaling from the belly, working up through the chest. Imagine the breath coming out the crown of the head. And then releasing, softening, allowing the pelvis to hang heavy. Taking 2 more breaths here. And when you're ready, inhaling, transitioning back to your all fours. Plug the hands down again, and let's move through some cat-cow. So inhale, head lifts through, belly drops. Exhale, start to draw the tailbone under, rounding the back, tucking the chin to the chest. Inhale, pressing the tops of the feet into the mat, feeling expansion in the chest, gaze comes up. Exhale, round. 3 more times with your own breath. Inhale to rise. Exhale, rounds. Inhale. Exhale. Last one. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale, come back to neutral. Taking a few breaths, pause here. And then let's tuck the toes under. Press down with the hands and let's lift the knees just 2 inches off the mat, just firing up the belly here. So drawing the belly in and up towards the spine. We're keeping length in the spine by gazing down the tip of the nose. Neck stays long, crown of the head reaching out in front of you. Last breath. And we drop the knees back down. Good. Feel into that sensation of firing up the belly. And then we'll plug down with the hands and work our way up to our first downward facing dog. Slowly peeling the hip bones up into space. Plug down with all 10 fingers. Nice, drawing the shoulders down the back. External rotation of the arms. Head hangs heavy in space. And then we'll start to walk the dog out. So press one heel towards the mat. Really bending into the opposite leg. And then switch over really slow and steady here. And if you can see my legs have a really generous bend in them, really generous bend in the knees, which will alleviate any sort of back pain, especially in the first few downward facing dogs. Really soften in to bending the legs. Taking any movement that feels nice, just staying in our downward dog a few more breaths, perhaps coming to stillness. And finding some comfort in this rest position where the head is hanging, relaxing the jaw. Feeling stable but buoyant in the move. One last breath. And then we'll start to walk the feet slowly up towards the hands. Taking little baby steps until we meet in a forward fold at the top of our mats. And we'll bend into the legs generously to get the torso really sat on the thighs. Nice. Tailbone is lifting skywards as we drop the arms down. Backs of the hands touch your mat to your floor in front. And then the head hangs heavy. We take some shakes of the head, some nods of the head, and roll out, release any tension. And then maybe our arms kind of float around each foot, kind of hanging like a rag doll. And then we come back to center, stillness, one breath, before we start to roll up one vertebrae at a time. Tucking the chin to the chest, and the head stays tucked, and that's what comes at last. Meeting into Tadasana or mountain pose, shoulders draw down the back, palms face each other, and we feel grounded in the feet, pressing down with the big toe, outside edge of the little toe, both sides of the heel. Perhaps we have a micro bend in the legs. And then on our next inhale, we lift our arms wide and over the head. Exhale, we float all the way down. Inhale, halfway lift, gaze out in front, perhaps the palms come up to the shins. And we exhale, fold. Now step back into high plank. Meeting in high plank. Spreading the fingertips wide, staying here for a few breaths. Plugging back in to the sensations of firing up the belly, drawing the belly in and up to the spine. Pressing the heels away. Last breath. Before we drop the knees down, tucking the elbows into the side body and coming all the way down with the chest. Untucking the toes, palms under the shoulders, and we roll our torso up into our baby cobra. Let's do a few of these. So we exhale, release the forehead down. Inhale, plug down with the hands, rolling up just a baby cobra. Elbows hug into side body. Exhale down. Let's do two more. Inhale, lifts. Exhale, fold. Last one. Inhale, lifts. Exhale, fold. Nice. This time we lift back into child's pose, bending the knees. Option to take 5 breaths here, or option 2, meet back and downward facing dog. Your practice. I'll just guide you, but give you some moderations or along the way, some options. So pick whatever you feel feels right tonight. Wherever you are, find some stillness. Tune into that breath. In and out through the nose. If you're in child's pose, let's meet back in downward facing dog. Taking our last breath together. And then inhale, three-legged dog. Right leg lifts up in space. Flex that foot as if you're pressing a door closed. Then we bend into the knee and the knee comes through, touches the nose, sensation of, and then stepping the foot between the hands, dropping the back knee down, untucking the back toes, coming up so our core is underneath us. And then let's heel toe the right foot out to the side. Maybe off your mat if you have one. Nice. And then we just want to really open up the pelvis. So we plug down on our right thigh with our hand. And then perhaps we come down onto the left fingertips. Or perhaps we stay here, whatever feels right. And really feel into that openness in the hip space. Breathe into the hips. Two more breaths. Your next inhale, come up so the core is underneath us again. Heel toe the right foot back so it's aligned with the right shoulder. Nice. And then we take the hands behind us and it interlace, drawing the shoulders down the back. And then from here again, we can drop the pelvis heavy. And the knee maybe tracks over the front ankle, the right knee. And our gaze slowly goes up, drawing our gaze up towards the ceiling and dropping the interlace heavy, heavy down in space. Perhaps our fingers touch our back thigh. Breathing from the belly here, really important. Breathe that cleansing inhale from the belly, up through the chest, out through the crown of the head. And then as we exhale, release everything down and out through the pelvis. Let's take one last breath. Release the hands from your interlace. Frame your front foot with both hands. Untuck the back toes. Tuck the back toes. Lift the back knee. Plug down with the left hand and reach the right arm skywards. Sensation of stacking the right shoulder on top of the left. Plug down the left hand. And envision as an energetic line all the way up through your left arm, your right shoulder, all the way up through your right arm and out through your right fingertips. Last breath here. Exhale, right hand comes to the outside of your right foot once more. Step back to plank. And then all together, let's drop the knees, chest, chin all the way down. Forehead kisses the earth, untuck the toes. Press the hands into the mat, baby cobra. Exhale, push back through your child's pose into your downward facing dog. 5 breaths, again, option for child's pose. Relax the jaw. Allow the eyelids to feel heavy if they're closed, or have a soft gaze if your eyes are open. Keep plugging down through the hands. And if you're in child's pose, come up to downward dog to meet us. Last breath. Inhale, rises the left leg in space. Flex that left foot as if you're pressing a door closed. Bending the knee, and then we round the back, knee tucks in towards you and then steps through between the hands. Nice, drop the right knee down, untuck the back toes, and then heel toe the left foot out to the side, perhaps off your mat. Come up so your core is underneath you, and then plug down into the left thigh with the left hand. Nice, perhaps here is enough. Opening your chest by drawing the shoulders down the back. Or maybe coming onto the right fingertips, or maybe grabbing your block or your book, pressing the right palm down onto your block. And then breathe into opening up the hips. Breathe in to feel really releasing this pose. Not constrictive, but opening. Working into that tightness with a sense of release. Last breath here. Nice, slowly come back up. My core is underneath me again. Heel toe the left foot back so it's aligned with the left shoulder. Nice, maybe tuck the back toes. Find a bit of stability, and then we take the interlace back behind us. Option to tuck the back toes or release the back toes, whatever feels best. And then we exhale, allow the pelvis to drop, hang heavy. Gaze starts to rise up towards the ceiling. And if you're wobbling a bit, really focus on pressing down at the left big toe. Tune back to that breath from the belly, rising through the chest. And then releasing down with the exhale. Last breath. Release your interlace. Frame the front foot. Tuck the back toes, lift the back knee, press down with the right palm this time, straighten the back leg and lift the left arm. Gazing up towards the left fingertips, but reaching the crown of the head out in front of me, so still keeping that length in the neck. Last breath. Exhale, release the left hand on the outside of the left foot, step back to plank. Chaturanga, maybe full chaturanga this time. If it's in your practice, or with me, drop your knees, chest chin, keeping your elbows hugged in all the way down, forehead touches, release the toes. Inhale, mini cobra. Exhale, push back through your child's pose. Maybe let's all just take a few breaths in child's pose this time. Softening your forearms down. And releasing down underneath you with this heaviness of the body, the head, the knees, the shoulders. Tune back to that quality breath. Really feeling into the physical expansion of the chest and the constriction through the breathing. Taking our last breath here. And then when you're ready, plugging down with the hands, pressing back to your downward facing dog. On your next inhale, lift the right leg up and back in space. Nice, like you're pressing a door closed. And again, bend the knee, take the knee through center, round the back, step back foot through between the hands. This time we plant the back heel down, the back foot is out 45 degrees. Working into our warrior two legs. Our front knee is over your front ankle. And then we rise, spiraling the arms up and over into our warrior two. Perhaps heel toe your front foot forward a little bit, so your knee is over your front ankle. Checking in with the back arm. Is as lifted as the front. And are we plugging down through the outside edge of the back foot? Gaze over your right middle finger. Breathing in. Feeling grounded in your feet, strong legs. And then all together we inhale, we rise and straighten the front leg. And we reverse the warrior with a straight front leg. And then as we exhale, we're going to rebend the front leg. Taking your palm on the inside of your right foot, maybe onto your block, and reaching the left arm over and in front of us into the side body stretch. Inhale to rise once more, straightening the front leg, reversing your warrior. And then exhale, flow through the side bend. Let's keep moving, let's do 3 more. So inhale, lifts. Exhale, fold. Spiraling the chest open as we fold. Inhale, lift. Exhale. Plugging the hand down as we arrive. Nice, rolling open the chest. Let's go one more time. And then we pause once we're in that full side stretch. Taking a few breaths. Last breath. Inhale to rise back to your warrior two. This time we take the back heel off the mat, working our way into a high lunge. Dropping the left knee as close to the mat as we can. Exhale. We fold. Both hands frame the front foot, step back to your high plank. Option for your vinyasa. Inhale. And then exhale. Downward facing dog or child's pose. 5 breaths. Your practice, your pose on the rest periods. Take this time to tune back to that quality breath. Releasing the exhale slowly with intention through the body. And if you're in child's pose, meet back in downward facing dog. Let's prepare for the left side. Your next inhale lifts the left leg up and back in space. Flex that foot, press that door closed, and then bend that knee round the back. Knee comes to the nose, steps between the hands, back foot places down 45 degrees out to the side, cut down with the feet, and then rise up into your warrior two. Nice heel toe, your front foot forward, so the knee is over your ankle. Your back arm is lifted as the front, and then gaze over your front middle finger. Breathe. And let's prepare for our flow. And next inhale, straighten the front leg, reach up and back in space. And then as we exhale, the left hand comes down to the mat or to your block. Reaching the right arm up and over, rolling open your chest. Inhale to rise, straighten the front leg. Exhale, we fold, working into that right side stretch. Inhale to rise. Exhale. Let's go one more time on the side. Inhale to rise. Exhale. And then we pause once we reach the final side stretch. Rolling open the chest, gaze comes underneath the right upper arm. The energetic line is really keeping the right fingertips active as they reach out in front of you. One last breath. Inhale to rise back to your warrior two. Taking the back heel off the mat, working your way into that high lunge. One breath, drop the back knee down. And then exhale, flood down, frame the front foot. Step back into plank, your chaturanga. Inhale, lifts. And then let's all meet in wide-legged child's pose. So knees as wide as your mat. Big toes together, forearms release down first, and the forehead. And perhaps we give our forehead a little massage. Perhaps we take a really deep inhale in through the nose. Let it go through the mouth. Perhaps a few more breaths like that really allows you to soften down. surrendering down into this child's pose. We'll take 2 more breaths here. Inhaling, peeling the forehead off the mat, plugging down with the hands and lifting the hips up and back into your downward facing dog. From here, we're going to generously bend the knees, gaze towards the front of your mat between your hands, and we're all going to try a little bunny hop forward. So start to bend into those knees and maybe rock kind of forward and back just a little bit. Giving yourself a feeling of buoyancy before we spring and we rise to the top of our mat, forward fold. Inhale to halfway lift. Exhale, forward fold. Bend into those knees, sit back in the seat as we rise our arms in front of us. Nice, Utkatasana chair pose. Option 4, feet together, or feet hip distance apart. However you think you get the more stability in your pose, in your chair. And then sit deeper, as deep as you can back, at the same time as pressing the big toes down. We breathe head together. Try smiling a little bit, feeling uplifted in your jaw, allowing the pose to be a little bit easier. Let's go, last breath. And then inhale, rise back to Tadasana, mountain pose. Give yourself a little wiggle, a bit of a shake. And then let's work into a balancing pose. So top of your mat, press your weight into your left leg, come up onto the ball of your right, and then take the sole of the foot to the calf or to the thigh, wherever feels comfortable. Plug your heel into your thigh, allowing your knee to really rotate out to the side. Once we've found stability in the legs, strong legs, take the hands to heart center and prayer. Drawing the belly in and up. As we inhale, rise the prayer above our heads. Option to stay here and draw the shoulders down the back, or I like to open my arms wide. Thumb and index finger touch. And then the other fingers are spread wide in space. And let's gaze down the tip of the nose, finding a point to focus. Our soft gaze, our soft drishti that will help our balance. Now if you fall out, just layer back up slowly. If you want added difficulty, try gently closing your eyelids. It's a lot more difficult than you think. Let's breathe here, 2 more breaths. And if your arms are open, take your hands back above you, and everyone take the prayer back through center. And release our hands down by our sides. Hug the right knee in towards you with your interlace. Flex that foot, point that toe, and kind of take some big circles with the right foot. Moving into that right foot, welcome the little clicks. And then release down, shake off that side. And then transitioning our weight into the right foot, coming up onto the ball of the left foot. Sole of the foot comes to the calf or the thigh. Just don't go on the knee, avoid the knee. Once you've found stability in the legs, strong legs, take your hands to your heart center. Gently touch the hands in prayer and then lift the prayer above your head. Option to stay here, drawing your shoulders down your back to create that space between the shoulders and the ears, or opening the arms up to the side. And again, sensation of drawing the shoulder blades down the back, drawing them in towards each other, will really give you more space between the shoulders and the ears, releasing any tension in the shoulders. Breathing in. Two more breaths. The arms are wide, taking the hands back to prayer above our heads and sliding the prayer back through center. Nice, drawing the knee in towards you in that interlace. Moving the foot, point, flex, big circles. And then release the left leg down. Meeting at the top of our mats again. And then inhale, arms go out and wide above your head. Exhale, let's flood all the way down, last time. Inhale, halfway lift, gaze out in front. And then exhale, step back to your high plank. Last vinyasa. Exhale. Inhale, lift your heart up and through. And then exhale, downward facing dog. Nice. Let's drop the knees into our all-fours position. And then untuck the toes. Allow the hips, the sit bones, just to sit back on the heels. Now we'll work into a little back bend here. A back bend that's really good for stimulating the nervous system, stimulating the thyroid, and just in general, kind of getting rid of any kind of caught up tension or stress in the body. I'll demonstrate. So you come up off your shins, tuck in the toes. It's called camel pose. If you know it, be my guest. Arrive in the pose. And then we take the right hand back to the right heel. And then the left hand follows. Option 2, keep looking down the tip of my nose. Or option to drop the head heavy and gaze back. And then when we come up, we take our hands to our lower back. We untuck the toes. And we sit back down, cupping one hand in the other. So let's go together. Tuck the toes. Take a deep inhalation. Then as we exhale, our right hand reaches back to our heel. Our left hand follows. And then we draw the shoulders back. Option to keep gazing down the tip of our nose. Option to drop the head and gazing behind us. Wherever you feel, you can take 5 breaths. At that point that you know your body can just find some stillness, work into the resistance, but still breathe with ease. Option to stay here, or option to release one arm skywards at a time. So releasing the left arm in space first, maybe just for a breath. And then refinding that left heel with the left hand, and then releasing the right arm back in space. Releasing back to that right heel. And then moving our hands to our lower back first. And then releasing down, untucking the toes. Cupping one hand in the other and closing the eyes down. Slowly blinking the eyes open. And then making our way to sitting on both sit bones evenly, taking the legs out in front. Nice, moving the flesh away from both sit bones so we can sit evenly on the sit bones. Flexing the feet back towards us. On an inhale, our arms rise above our heads. And on an exhale, we're going to move into our forward fold really slowly, really slowly. And perhaps our hands just stop on our shins, our calves, or perhaps they go all the way and grab the outside of the feet. Elbows are soft and you bend into your elbows. Flexing the feet back towards you will really help to stretch in the calves, the hamstrings. And wherever you are, keep gazing towards the feet, the toes, and that will allow length in the back. And every time we inhale, our heart rises a bit and we find a little bit more space in the heart area. And as we exhale, perhaps we fold a little bit deeper and we press those heels away. Listen to the audible sound of your breath and take 3 more from here. On your next inhale, rise. Release. Release your flexion in your feet, and that should feel like a really nice release. And then take the sole of the right foot up to where the right knee was. Take the right sole of the foot over the left thigh. Plug down with the whole of the right foot. And then we're going to move into a seated twist. So we're going to take the right hand back behind us. Press the palm into the mat. And all together we inhale, lift the left arm skywards first. Flex that left foot. So press the left heel away. So the left leg is active and the left kneecap is lifted. And then we exhale, we twist. Start to gaze over the right shoulder as the left elbow comes on the outside of the right knee. And then as we exhale, we fold into the pose, gazing over the right shoulder, drawing the belly in and up. Imagine someone has an energetic line and it's coming out the crown of your head. So someone's drawing your head skywards. So you're really finding length throughout the whole body, the whole back body, the neck. And perhaps here is a nice time to close the eyes if they're not already closed. One last breath. Inhale back to center, and let's go all the way to the other side and de-rotate for 1 breath. Come up onto your fingertips. And then release back, facing forward. Release the right leg long. Just give the legs a little shake, a little wiggle. And then draw the left sole of the foot up to where the left knee was. Step that foot over. Press down with the whole foot, so big toes pressing into the mat. And then we take the right palm behind us. Nice. I'm not leaning back or forward. My core is underneath me. And I'm plugging down with the left hand so I can find that length in the back body. Inhale, right arm lifts all the way skywards. Energetic line out through those fingers. And then we start to twist. Hooking the right elbow onto the outside of the left knee. And then exhale. We twist around. Find that breath from the belly. Last breath. Inhale takes us back to center and all the way around the other side. De-rotate, 1 breath. Nice. We come back to center. We're going to do something a little bit different now. I've been doing quite a lot of yin lately, so we're going to do a bit of a yin pose. Hold it for a little bit longer than we usually do. So I'll just demonstrate. Taking the right sole of the foot behind us. I'll show you here. And so the top of the right foot is kind of next to the right hip. And then from here, all we're going to do is we're going to walk back either onto our forearms. And then perhaps walking the foot underneath our kind of right buttocks a little bit. Keeping both knees drawn in together. And then here, if that feels okay, perhaps coming all the way down onto our backs. So maybe I'll show you from this side. All together, let's try it. So bending into that right knee, taking that foot right by our right hip. Coming down onto our forearms. And we're going to be here for about 2 minutes. So find a place that feels okay and not too painful in the knee. And then we're going to come onto our backs, if that feels okay. And then take the backs of the palms to your sides, just like you did in Shavasana. And then close your eyes down. Relax the whole left side of the body. And take yourself back to that visualization we started the practice in. Bringing awareness to parts of the body that feel light, parts that feel heavy. Where can you feel the resistance and where can you feel the release? Those parts you feel resistance, try directing your breath to those areas of the body. In those areas you feel lightness, how can you do less? How can you release a little bit further? How can you really melt into that softness? It's okay if you feel sensations in the knee and the leg. Just try and find that stillness, that sense of witnessing but not judging, the knowledge that will only last a short while, and then our sensations will change. And the moment would have passed, and the sensations will be different again. And right now, the tool we have to just sit with this and be aware and not judging is our breath. So tune back to your breath. Take a last few deeper breaths. And if you're all the way down on your back, come back up to your forearms. And let's release this right leg long and down. Slowly and carefully. And let's all just lie on our backs here. And again, tune into how the right side of the body feels compared to the left. Welcome the tingling, the sensations in the left and the right side body even. Taking one more breath in the Shavasana pose. And then pressing up with our forearms to a seated position once more. And then moving to the opposite side. So drawing the left foot underneath or just to the side of the left hip. And then walking down onto our forearms first. Perhaps this is enough, we stay here. Or perhaps we come all the way down. Perhaps moving the left foot underneath us a tiny bit if you want to feel a little bit stronger. Or perhaps shuffling the foot out to the side to find a little bit more comfort. And as we exhale, we release, we surrender. We let the breath be free. And we sit with the stillness. We sit with this, finding comfort in the uncomfortness. What part of the body, the mind, feels free, spacious? you can tune into. Stimulating calmness in the whole body. Here for another 30 seconds. So if your mind is wandering, just bring it back to the here, the now, how the body feels. And then start to take a few deeper breaths. Drawing the breath in from the belly, up through the chest, and then releasing down just as the breath arrived. Blinking the eyes open slowly, and then if you're on your backs, start to press up with your forearms, and slowly, carefully releasing the left leg long. Nice. And then everyone meet in your Shavasana. Mini Shavasana, we're not quite done yet. And then release down, surrender. This time, tune into the sensations of the left side of the body. Welcome the strong sensations, perhaps tingling, perhaps this lightness moving its way through the leg. And then from here, we're going to draw the feet up to where the knees were, pressing the soles of the feet into your mat. And then plugging down with both big toes, the outside edges of the little toes, and both sides of the heel. And then we're going to press the lower back into the mat by drawing the belly in towards the spine. Maybe the tailbone just lifts. Nice. So draw the lower back in. Press the lower back in towards the mat. Taking a few breaths just to tune back to engaging the abdomen. As we engage the abdomen, stretch and flow and move, it really stimulates the organs in that area. From here, we're going to start to peel the lower back off the mat, pressing the sit bones down. Nice, and then feeling that natural curve in the lower back and really releasing the lower back off the mat. This time the sit bones are pressed into the mat. And then as we inhale, we again draw the lower back into the mat. This time we start to peel each vertebrae off the mat, starting with the lower back, the middle back, moving our way into the upper back, and then drawing our arms underneath us. Coming up to bridge pose and interlacing the hands. Gaze is just down the tip of our nose, and imagine you've got a block between your thighs and you're squeezing the block together. Encouraging this gentle engagement of the glutes. And then closing your eyes down. Can you lift the hips a little bit higher? Taking 2 more breaths, squeezing that block between your thighs. And then releasing the interlace. Taking your arms wider than your hips, allowing space to then start peeling the vertebrae back down on the mat, slowly, steadily. Nice, pressing the lower back into the mat first, and then lifting the lower back by pressing the sitting bones down. Draw your knees in towards you. Give yourself a big squeeze, a big hug in with the knees. Massaging the back, rolling the lower back from side to side on the mat. And then just dropping your knees over to one side into a supine twist, allowing the arms to come parallel. And then gaze over your opposite shoulder to where your knees are dropped. And to feel it more in the mid-upper back, ensure your knees are aligned with your belly button. Draw your knees up towards you a little bit more if they're not. With every exhale, really feel into the releasing breath. Soften down the backs of the arms. And then on your next inhale, drawing your knees into the center and dropping them over to the other side. Keeping your arms out parallel. And then gazing over the opposite shoulder, drawing your eyes down here. Just letting your breath be free. Work into its natural rhythm. On your next inhale, draw your knees back in. And then we'll finish today with the happy baby. So taking the arms inside your thighs, grabbing the outside of your feet with your hands, and then pressing the lower back into the mat. First and foremost, really pressing that in. And if it means your soles of your feet don't quite go skywards, just sort of hang in space here, that's absolutely fine. Whatever you do, just press the lower back into the mat and rock side to side. If you can draw your soles of your feet a little bit more skywards, that's okay too. And perhaps have sensations of drawing your knees in towards your armpits, feeling the stretch in your hips. Take a few more rocks side to side. And then when you're ready, just releasing down into your Shavasana. Legs as wide as your mat. Have your feet just sprawled out to the side. Your arms are long by your sides, backs of the hands. Softly touch the earth. Taking one deep inhale in through the nose and out through the mouth. Full release down into your Shavasana. Closing down the eyelids if they're not closed already. And let's take a minute in silence and stillness, letting our bodies absorb the practice, letting our minds just melt down into this space. As you start to take a few deeper breaths, tune back to the awareness of the body, perhaps the lightness the whole body, the mind is feeling and experiencing in your Shavasana. Perhaps you feel heaviness in the body melting down. Starting to wiggle the fingertips, wiggle the toes, nod the head, shake the head side to side, just letting the spine know that movement is coming. And then taking your hands over your head into a full body stretch. Perhaps the hands meet an interlace and we press the interlace away as we point the toes. Finding length in the whole body. And then rocking onto your side. Creating a pillow for your ear with both hands and drawing your knees in towards you. Taking a moment to reconnect to the physical body. Keeping your eyes drawn closed if you can. Slowly pressing yourself up with your palm. We'll meet in a comfortable seat. And let's have palms facing down on the knees, on the thighs. Drawing the shoulders down or backs. Perhaps sitting on a block or book to just get a little bit of height in the sit bones to encourage that length in the spine. And then let's take our hands to heart center in prayer. Take the prayer a little bit higher so it's between our eyebrows to the third eye. And then let's rub our palms together. Rub our palms for a little while, creating heat in the hands. And then covering both eyes even with the palms. Before we start to blink our eyes open, with the palms protecting our vision, so we can softly come back with our eyes open and releasing our hands and softening down, opening the eyes. Namaste, everyone. Thank you for practicing with me tonight.